Hi, and welcome to Connect in a Minute. In today's season opener, I am joined by Robert Cioffi, a very good friend of mine. Robert, thank you so much for joining the season opener for Connect in a Minute.
It's my pleasure, Kim, and I'm honored that you would select me to be part of your premiere episode here.
I had to. So just to give you some context, why is Robert out of everybody in the network?
Because I paid her enough. No.
So I was talking to Robert. I was telling him I want to do this show. It's called Connect in a Minute. And I won't say what the old idea was, but this is what I want to cover. And then he was like, well, where I thought you were taking that is where we are today. The show Connect in a Minute really aims to help people connect, share the tricks of the trade for how people make new friends, add to their connections, where they find people, just ideas on how you can grow your network of great people.
Every one of us in this community, those that are watching and those that will continue to participate along with you, have some sort of great experience to talk about building their business community relationships, as well as their vendor relationships and just general community relationships.
It's been a year since the end of, not the end of COVID, but since we were back to in-person meetings, in-person conferences, and all of that good stuff. So how has it been for you? It's been a year of getting back to being around people.
I'm just delighted to be back with people, IT people like me, those of us that started our businesses as techs especially. I think we have a bad reputation for, being introverted, people who don't, have personalities. And I find the opposite is true.
So can you talk about the value of building a network and maybe share how your network has helped you?
Oh my goodness, Kim. We do not have enough time to cover that topic in its entirety, but I don't think there is a bigger proponent out there in the world to talk about the power of community relationships, both in your local markets as well as through peer groups and IT associations. If you're not building connections in a community like this with vendors like a control case, right, or with your peers, you're really doing your company a disservice.
What are some tips that you would share with somebody that's looking to grow their network?
Oh, here are a couple of tips. Number one, when you're going to an event, if there's some of that open seating at lunch tables, make sure that you're intentionally sitting at a table and just jump right in like you would jump into a cold pool. Just announce, hey, I'm Robert, is this seat taken? The other thing is you could do the same thing when you're sitting in a presentation, when you're sitting next to somebody, maybe before it starts, introduce yourself. Just a couple of, quick pleasantries. Where are you from? What do you do? Tell me about you. Getting people to talk about them is a great way to break the ice. Another, I think, great tip is when the presenter is done speaking, usually everybody leaves the room. I would offer that you should stay behind and maybe ask them a follow-up question in person. Usually there's a small group of very engaged people who want to continue the conversation. And by you putting yourself in there and having, at least a, pretty good question to ask is a way to find yourself suddenly now walking down the hall with somebody and getting to know them better or opening up your network. Last little piece of advice there is try to give yourself a number, a goal. Hey, today when I wake up, I want to make 5 new connections. I just want to meet 5 new people that I've never spoken to before. And it's just sort of a little mental game that you can play to make sure that you're keeping on track.
And that's it. We're going to be sharing wisdom with each other on how to connect.
I think we all have some great, unique wisdom to share with each other.